How great would it be if I opened up this review with me all of a sudden just growing my beard a little bit longer out of nowhere and just changing shirts? Just one smooth edit. I'm kidding, nothing about my editing skills is smooth. Hey everyone, it's our post-Geekout reaction of Mission Impossible Fallout. I'm Aaron.
And I'm Michelle. That was a bit of a delay.
This review's gonna be going just fine. So yeah, we just saw Mission Impossible Fallout, and for anybody who missed it, we did a post-Geekout retrospective in which we went back and watched the first 3 Mission Impossible films back to back to back because we had already seen the 4th one. So the only film that we had not seen was the 5th one, and guess what? This is the only film in the franchise where you have to actually watch a film before it.
Yep.
Man, we were talking about this when we did the post-Geekout retrospective of how every single one of these movies kind of just reboots themselves and doesn't have anything to do with the previous film. So you can kind of just go right into it. I mean, in the 4th film, that oddly enough was the first one that we ever watched. And at the end of it, they briefly mentioned, oh yeah, you know, we're keeping tabs on your wife. And there's a picture of her real quick, bam, like that. And that's all you got as a reference back to him getting married in the previous films. Like, Jesus, man, you guys really do just move on to the next thing and do not care at all. So the 5th one is the only one that we had not seen. This entire film is just, here's that character from the last film. It's the villain from the last film. Remember what happened in the last film? So, like, our bad. Yeah.
I guess we'll have to do a P-gore of the 5th Mission Impossible movie now.
Or we can not, no one will ever care again. Okay.
Until the next Mission Impossible movie comes out.
They're like 5 years apart each of them, so we have time. But yeah, I just kept kicking myself the entire time that it's like, we don't really need to watch the 5th one. It'll be fine. Yeah, you need to watch the 5th one. This is the first time in Mission Impossible history you actually kind of need to watch the movie before in order to understand what's going on. But, that being said, I still had a damn good time.
Yeah, it was very enjoyable.
I actually easily think this is probably the best film.
Yeah, I think so too. And it's like,
I like the 4th one a lot still, but this one is just so incredibly well shot, well acted, aside from Henry Cavill's accent. Henry Cavill was fine in here, but let that brother speak with his original accent. He can't do American accents. Every word out of his mouth, it sounds like he is just trying so hard to not let that British accent come out. Like in the beginning, the very first exchange that he has with Ethan Hunt. Isn't that what you do? The impossible? Whether you choose to accept the mission, isn't that what you do? Ethan Hunt. I was like, oh my god, just let the dude talk with his British accent. Just, why? There are other British people in the movie already. Would he be too many in there? You got Simon Pegg, you got some lady from the 5th film that we didn't know about. Yeah, she's in here and she's British, so God, it just drove me nuts. But he still didn't have that much to say in here. Kind of like when he plays Superman, except that here it actually kind of works because it makes him more intimidating. And his entire character is that at the beginning of this film, the Mission Impossible agency, they lose track of 3 things of plutonium. And they have to go and track them down, but the CIA is pissed. It's like, you guys have just been playing around with your makeup and your mask this whole time. No. We're going to have one of our guys watch you. So they send their biggest badass, Henry Cavill, in there to go and basically pair up with Ethan Hunt and basically make sure that the mission goes accordingly. And I really dug their dynamic in here because Ethan Hunt, you know, he doesn't want to work with this guy. And this movie does an amazing job of making the audience not want him to work with him either. This movie makes you hate Henry Cavill, like, quick. Because Henry Cavill is doing nothing but shit-talking Ethan Hunt the entire time.
And giving him a hard time, too.
Yeah.
Like,
and also, I mean, because, one of the first things they do, they have to jump out of the back of a plane, and Ethan Hunt looks out and goes, no, there's a storm right here. And he just unplugs Ethan Hunt's oxygen mask and goes, stop being a pussy, is basically what he tells him. And then hops out into the lightning storm, and then Ethan Hunt has to plug his oxygen mask back in, chase after him, and Henry Cavill makes something go horribly wrong.
Like, didn't he get, like, struck by lightning?
He gets struck, I didn't want to quite spoil that, but yeah, it's...
Well, I don't know if that's, like, a major spoiler.
It's not a plot thing, but it is a bit of a surprise, because literally as they're falling, it's like, "What's the matter, Ethan? Didn't you?" It's like, yeah, both of them get struck by lightning, and then when they land, Ethan Hunt has to save this dude's life from landing, and then as soon as they land, he's like, "Oh, I guess you screwed that up." He's like, "Motherfucker, we just." This movie makes you hate him, and I love that. I love whenever the guy who you're rooting for is paired up with the guy the audience is supposed to hate. I love dynamics like that, and man, they're able to carry that out throughout this film. Which is one of the small problems I actually have with this, is that after he gets paired up with Henry Cavill, he kind of loses the rest of his squad. Like, Simon Pegg is gone until the third act of the film. Ving Rhames is gone. Yeah, they really do just basically go, "Hey, you know that team he's been working with? They're not here anymore. Now it's this one-man team he's working with over here." And we were kind of saying that in the retrospective, is that one of the problems with the Mission Impossible films is that it's basically just an Ethan Hunt film, and Mission Impossible needs to be more about the team. At the end of the film, it becomes about
they eventually reunite, and like they all like do their part to like save the world and everything.
Yeah,
so.
but it's
like
for a good chunk of this.
Yeah,
for a good chunk of this, it's the Ethan Hunt film. It's like, all right, well, that's just what they are. That's
we're
on movie number 6. I can't complain that much more.
Yeah, obviously, but like, you know, one thing like you complain about like the first 3 Mission Impossible movies, like it didn't really feel like a team. But this time, they felt like a team. You know?
when they're together, they are a team.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things, because they cast bigger names in here, like, you know, Henry Cavill, Simon Pegg. Previously, the only other big name they had in here was Ving Rhames. And Ving Rhames, again, in all the previous films, he would be there whenever you felt like it. You'd just be like, "Hey, Ving Rhames is here now, everybody." But everybody else in here now, but everybody else in the previous films, you didn't really care who they were. Now they all have name presence in there. So it's like, okay, well, I at least know that guy. So, hey, that's good. But yeah, at the end of this film, they do feel like a team. I'll give them that. Also, this is something else that you gotta bring up about the Mission Impossible films. The stunts. Stunts are really damn good here.
Yeah.
There are some good chase sequences in here in which they have to thread the needle between other cars on like a 2-lane highway. The guy sitting next to me, the first time that they actually did that, the guy sitting next to me like sucked in and leaned back in his chair. It was effective. Either that or he like dropped like his soda on his lap and was trying to like so yeah, the stunts in here are really good, but they're not quite as big and insane. Until the end. Because I kept looking at this like, well, I guess Tom Cruise is getting older and he can't really do his crazy stunts anymore. Because they haven't really done any in here. He's been doing motorcycle chases and they're doing some awesome camera work where you can tell it's actually like a camera like zooming around with him. So they're doing great stuff with that. But yeah, nothing really quite like all the insane stuff from the previous ones. And then at the end of this, he's climbing a helicopter. And I was like, yeah, that's real. Like, you can look at, that's the amazing thing about those stunts. At the end of this, there's a big action sequence, and I could look at and tell it was green screen. But the only reason I could tell it was green screen is because it followed up Ethan Hunt actually climbing up a helicopter, which Tom Cruise was actually doing. And it's like, yeah, if I had not seen actual real crazy stunts a second ago, I would not have known this was green screen. But yeah, you can really tell he's actually doing it. And it does make it more tense. And it also makes it more believable when you see him actually doing that. And that's something else I gotta give this film. Ethan Hunt, he doesn't feel like the unstoppable juggernaut from the first, not even the first film,
like
but
the second one,
The second one, and even the third one a little bit. He doesn't feel like the unstoppable juggernaut from those films. Hell, even in the fourth one, he was kind of unstoppable. In this one, you see him getting his ass kicked.
Yeah, and you see him like make some mistakes and everything.
Yeah.
But it's like, he still picks himself up and keeps on going.
Yeah, so. But I mean, like, there's a moment in which he gets flung off a motorcycle and he gets up, and yeah, the average person would be liquefied. But he stands up and, yeah, he's limping. He's trying to do the Tom Cruise run, but he can't do it anymore. It's like, no, his one greatest strength, the ability to run is gone from him now. But it's stuff like that, or, you know, the bathroom fight that we see in the trailers. He gets his ass kicked a lot in this movie. And that makes the big stunt so much more impressive because you know this dude is human. That's been the thing about the Mission Impossible films. They always feel like they've got like one foot in like a little bit believable reality spy stuff and then another big ass foot in like the super spy, like crazy science fiction stuff. This one felt like even though they're doing the big crazy super science fiction stuff, this is shot so much more like a regular spy film.
Mm-hmm.
It's acted so much more like a regular spy film. They talk about a lot of like the bureaucracy between these different departments and stuff.
Yep.
And I kind of dig that.
Yeah, me
dig
too.
that it swung a little bit more closer to reality. On
Yeah, I like that.
it's still crazy, but again,
yeah, but like not like ridiculous.
yeah, it's not a Fast and Furious film. And again, it's not like, Ethan Hunt, the big stunt from like the fourth one, which was like the first really great one of these films. He's still got Spider-Man gloves on and climbing a building. It's like, wow, is that a real thing? Can you possibly? Pretty much everything that they do in this film, like, you could do that. That's an actual thing.
Yeah, it's like I noticed he didn't like I was making a joke about him like being suspended by a wire is like his thing, but he didn't really do that in this movie. In this
He
one,
climbs up a really big ass rope, but no, yeah,
yeah, like there's a difference between climbing up a rope and like actually being like suspended from a cable.
True.
So.
Yes. But yeah, so I really did enjoy that swung a little bit closer to reality on this one. It is a shame that I really can't comment on like, oh, he's running up against this evil person again, or oh, it's that thing from the last one. We can't really comment on because this one just happened to make reference to all the films that we had not watched.
Mm-hmm.
Except it does make references to 3. And we'll get into, actually that's not really that much of a spoiler because it opens up with like a dream sequence of him getting married. So yeah, this has a lot to do with, and it's a recurring thing. He keeps having nightmares about like something happening to his ex-wife. About something happening to her. We finally get like some explanation in here though about what exactly happened to her. Which we might have gotten that in the fourth one, but again, that was so long ago. I don't even remember.
I don't really remember.
But I like that it is part of the plot. Like one thing I do remember from the fourth one is that even though they do mention her, it's very quickly. It's very quickly. Like, yeah, kind of we're rebooting this all over again, kind of thing. This one, again, it feels so much more realistic because not just because of the way it's shot, not just because of the stunts that they do, but also because it feels like the things from the previous films actually happened in this one. Like it feels like the stuff that you had seen in the previous films actually held weight and were important to this movie. And I like that. I like that it helps to make these characters feel more real.
Yeah, more fleshed out.
More fleshed out. And when you have characters like that, you get so much more concern for them. I still think Ethan Hunt is basically just angry Tom Cruise. I'll still say that. In fact, there are some line reads in here that are the most Tom Cruise-y line reads of anything he's done in any of these films. Like, there's a moment in which, I can't remember, but it's right after the bathroom fight. And he did that thing where he's bobbing his head. And, hey, Peach, hey, I want attention. He was doing that thing where he's like bobbing his head and he repeats the line. He repeats the line. Repeats the line. And I was like, that's pretty much the most Tom Cruise-y thing I've seen in any of these films. So yeah, he is just angry Tom Cruise again in this. But you know what? We've had 6 films like that. It's by this point, it's like, yeah, that's just what Ethan Hunt is. Ethan Hunt is just angry Tom Cruise. Just deal with it. Anybody else to really comment on this? Henry Cavill, again, I give him a hard time because he can't do an American accent. But that's not on him.
Yeah.
That's on the movie studios and the directors constantly going, no, you can do it. You can't. You are fine British. No one has a problem with that. Just be British. I don't understand this. But aside from that, he's really good in here. As we said, he is the guy who is there to basically be an asshole to Ethan Hunt the entire time. And also he's like the CIA's #1 guy. And yeah, he is able to pull off this big brick shithouse, like just intimidating figure the entire film.
And it's like the reason why they had to like get the CIA to...
Oh yeah, we should talk about that.
Yeah.
I kind of dig, that's another part of this movie that I really dug, is that the reason why the CIA gets involved is because Ethan Hunt, he lost 3 big containers of plutonium at the beginning of this film, and they have to give them back with the CIA's tick because they're the ones who lost it. But Ethan Hunt lost it because of a very human decision they had made. And one thing that I enjoyed is that Alec Baldwin, who again had not been in any of these films until the 5th one, so there was a big emotional moment with Alec Baldwin in here about like their history. And I'm like, I don't have a connection to this. Oh, I missed the one film that would give me the connection to this. But yeah, I really like Alec Baldwin in here though. And one thing that I like about him is that, again, Ethan Hunt lost all this stuff because he made a human decision. And any of the other people we saw as his boss in the previous couple films will have been in there like, you screwed up, this is your fault, how dare you choose that, you know. But no, Alec Baldwin's like, listen, the entire reason why I decided to take this job is because of you, and it's because you make the human decisions. I don't want someone who would have made the decision the other way around. I appreciate that. I actually really like that in there. Let's see. I will say there are a couple of, talking about some of the negatives in here, there's a couple of really cliche things in here.
Yeah.
Like, the end of this film is a ticking time bomb situation. And, man, I've seen that so many times. And don't get me wrong, you can still do ticking time bomb and make me get suspenseful about it. You can still do ticking time bomb and make me get really invested in it. And this did it pretty well. But it's still something that I have seen so many goddamn times.
Yeah, but it's like, thinking back to like the first three, it's like they didn't really have like any ticking time bomb. At least like, not like an actual countdown.
Not literally. There wasn't an actual countdown thing. Yeah, you're right. I guess the second one with the 20-hour infestation thing.
Yeah, I guess, but like I said, there's like no like actual like countdown or anything.
Yeah, this one is a literal ticking, like...
Yeah, it's like the second one...
This thing ends with, I have to cut the wire, but I need to know tick, 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 tick,
yeah.
tick. It's like, yeah, alright, we've seen this stuff.
Yeah, it's like, in the second one, there really didn't seem like much at risk.
Yeah.
But like, there's like an actual risk in this one.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
It's like, that's a fault of the second one, definitely. So yeah, but I mean, it does make you feel like this is a big thing. Like, they did the ticking time bomb thing about as well as they probably could.
Yeah,
It's just still hard to kind of overlook that. Also, when we did the post-Geekout retrospective, we talked about how, oh my god, the IMF organization, Tom Cruise and his group, they always have to be like taken off the record and have to go rogue and have to be like separated from the rest of the government at some point in time. And there's always going to be somebody betraying somebody in these films. Oh my god, when someone betrayed someone in this film, I literally leaned over to you and just went, betrayal. Yeah, everything from the previous Mission Impossible films. Someone actually on Twitter, I don't remember who it was, but one of my followers on Twitter actually brought up a good point, which is, have they ever, in any of the Mission Impossible films, actually done something successfully from start to finish? Or did they always get betrayed? Did they always get taken off the case? Did they always like screw something up?
Well, maybe that's why it's called Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
Or Mission Hard Not to Fuck Everything Up.
Mission My Bad. But no, yeah,
Mission Whoopsies.
I'm not going to tell you who it is, but it feels like that's not even a thing I should really even have to say as a spoiler, that Mission Impossible film, someone's going to betray someone. But I will say another thing about this. This is a way better spy film than any of the other Mission Impossible.
Yeah, I have to agree.
The previous Mission Impossible films, it's just really big, explodey stuff. It's action films wrapped in a spy burrito.
Yeah.
This is a full-on spy sandwich. Like, every layer of it.
Yeah.
Because, like, yeah, there's the betrayal again. But it's like an actual legit good betrayal that leads into another good reveal that turns into like a triple backstab.
Yeah.
That turns into this organization doing this thing with these people over here doing this thing. It's like, man, this is actually way better than what we normally get in these Mission Impossible films. This is like actual espionage stuff. This is actual like, you betrayed me and I betrayed him and now I'm backstabbing this person, but that organization is coming in here to do this thing and triple betrayals going on here. Yeah, this was handled so much better. And again, a lot of that is with how it's shot. This really is shot like a spy film. Like, there's a lot of really cool camera work that they do. Like, there's a moment in which they're meeting someone in this big open field, but there are these trees right next to them, and then they just kind of like slowly walk into the trees and the camera just zooms behind them. It's like, yeah, very much like you are just an observer to this secret meeting that's going on. They do a lot of stuff in here like that. And there's also a decent chunk of humor in here.
Yeah.
Like, not too much, but there's a sequence in which they're having to chase down someone through the streets of Paris, which they make full use of Paris.
Yeah.
Paris is on full display here. They do a great job with that. They really take advantage of where they shot this movie. This was not like, they didn't shoot this in Paris so they could all get a vacation.
Yeah.
They shot in Paris so they could shoot some cool shit in Paris. But there's a moment in which Ethan Hunt is like having to run after someone, and it's a crazy ass sequence of him just running through all these buildings. Yeah, it is so impressive, but there is also a good sense of humor thrown in there. Again, not too much, but just enough to like help liven it up, give it a little bit of flavor.
Yes, and that's really important.
Yes.
Like when it comes to like action and suspenseful movies, like you need a joke every now and then.
Every now and again, yeah. Just again, make these people kind of feel human.
Yeah, which is something I didn't really get from the first three.
No, you really don't. But yeah, I mean, like, there is a moment in which Simon Pegg's character kind of screws something up while he is on the run there. It's like, that is a very human mistake, and everybody's reaction to it, like, Tom Cruise, after he screws that thing up, Tom Cruise just has this look on his face of like, oh, fuck. Yeah, because he is now in a very difficult situation because of this screw-up. But it's not like one of the screw-ups they just gotta, like, rip this guy's head off of. It's more just like, oh, come on, man.
Yeah.
And yeah, it does make him feel more human. And again, that's what makes this film so good. It's that they feel way more human when they're doing this crazy stuff, so the stakes feel so much higher.
Yeah, it's like Ethan is now like, he's more compassionate. Like he wants to like he doesn't want to like kill anybody.
He was a big bag of dicks in the previous couple films.
Yeah, it's like now it's like, oh, like I don't want to hurt my teammates. I don't want to hurt like civilians. I want to like, you know, a death count as small as minimum as possible. So.
Yeah, and I mean, if you saw the trailers, you saw that moment in which, like, Ving Rhames is saying, no, we can't cross that line. It's like, well, maybe it's about time that we did. That's very different from how he is in the rest of the film.
Yeah.
Like, that's one moment and there's an explanation for it. So any final thoughts, or you just want to go ahead and give it your score?
I would give it a score, but it's like I kind of felt like I had to watch the fifth one to like get a better understanding, because like you said with the previous Mission Impossible movies, I could have just like judged them all on their own. You can jump into
all of them by themselves.
Yeah, but it's like with this one, it's like I felt like maybe I would have gotten a better grasp if I saw the previous
The
one.
emotional impact definitely would have been higher.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, there is a character from the fifth film who comes in here, and I kept thinking she was the character from the fourth film.
Yeah.
Because it had been so long since I'd seen it, but I was like, no, she wasn't British. And then all of a sudden, like, then as soon as the credits started rolling, I pulled my phone out. I was like, all right, who was she? What was she in? She was in the fifth film. Who was this film? He was in the fifth film. When did Alec Baldwin join this? In the fifth film. Yeah, yeah. Some of the emotional impact that we would have gotten was missing from this. Mm-hmm. But also, I will say, after watching all these Mission Impossible films, I have kind of come to the determination they're not entirely my thing. Like, when it comes to spy films, I enjoy either very realistic, like a bunch of dudes sitting in a boardroom kind of thing, just very suspenseful, not a lot of action, more just very dialogue heavy, or I enjoy just go full on crazy, you're traveling into space looking for Infinity Stones. I know the Avengers films aren't spy films for that guy who's about to comment down there. I was making a joke about going big and crazy. Yeah, so like, to me when it comes to spy films, I kind of like those two extremes, and the Mission Impossible films have always kind of been in the middle. But I did appreciate this one so much more because it swung so much closer to this end of the spectrum.
Yeah, no exploding gum.
Yeah. That was a huge problem you had with the first one.
That was just so out of place because it just felt so unrealistic.
It felt very James Bondsy.
Yeah, very James Bondsy.
But this one, it felt like meat and potatoes spy stuff. They are on the ground, like they still make the silly mask, but the silly masks are cool, so it's fine. So I appreciate this one swinging so much closer to that one end of the spectrum that I really enjoy. But again, I've just kind of come to the determination that just personal taste, the Mission Impossible films just aren't my thing. So personally, I'd give this an 8. But just speaking objectively, in terms of like how well it told the story, how well it shot everything, how well everybody acted in here, just how well everything was set up and pulled off, like, just speaking objectively, I'd easily give it a 9. And I could see other people even giving this a 10. But yeah, personal taste, I'm giving it an 8. But again, I come down more on the negative side of these films than most people do. So I think most people out there would probably gladly give this like a 9. This is a really damn good film.
Yeah, I'd say like maybe 8.5. Like if I seen the fifth one and like gotten a better understanding of the characters, that I would probably like boost it up a bit.
That would definitely affect how you view this film. Yeah. But okay, let's go ahead and get into the spoiler stuff in here. Beep, boop, 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 boop. Spoiler time. I'll make a graphic for that at some point. So, Henry Cavill is the guy who is the one betraying them. He's the guy, they're looking for this mystery figure, And he's the guy who's trying to buy the plutonium from this person called the White Widow.
Yeah.
Which, again, you're talking about spy stuff in here. I really dig that at the end of this film, the White Widow, even though she's doing all this horrible stuff, she's now part of the good guys because she had been trying to buy her way into the CIA's trust. And even though she did a bunch of horrible stuff, that's kind of how the spy stuff works. Like, you can do a bunch of horrible stuff, but if you can be an asset to us, we'll bring you on board. So, yeah, I really dug that. But they're trying to track down this person who's trying to do a business deal with them. Turns out that it was Henry Cavill's character the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
I dug the hell out of the way that they revealed that, though.
Yeah.
I thought that was great because they do this big thing in which they have to make a mask of the evil bad guy and put the mask on Simon Pegg's character, and then Simon Pegg's going to be taken out there and handed off to the White Widow. But after that happens, they tell Henry Cavill, you have to stay behind and you have to watch the real guy. Make sure the real guy doesn't leave. He goes in there and starts talking to the real guy, and then all of a sudden, like halfway through, after he like starts admitting, yes, I'm the bad guy, I've been working with this, you've been working with me, how did you screw all this up, how have you not been doing this? And here's me and my master plan. But it's not like, oh, now time to go on a monologue. No, you tricked me into going to a monologue. No, it's like actual real conversation that he would have with his underling about what their plan is. And then he realizes, like halfway through, oh, you're not actually him. And he rips the mask off and, yep, it was Simon Pegg the whole time. The audience literally applauded that.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? That was damn good.
Yeah.
Not to mention, like, they also looked like they had to go rogue from Alec Baldwin. Then Alec Baldwin pops up there, and he's got a gun, points the gun at Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill then takes the gun away, and then Alec Baldwin goes, yeah, that's full of blanks. Click, click, click. This one's loaded, though. It was like a triple twist there. It's like, twist, they didn't betray Alec Baldwin. Twist, it was Simon Pegg in there. Twist, that gun was fake. This one's real. It's like, God, that was so good. That was done so well. But then there's a quadruple twist in there in which it's revealed that, oh, we set you up with the CIA lady. The CIA lady was listening in the whole time, so now she knows that we're innocent and that he's on board. But then when she's basically just Amanda Waller.
Yeah.
She's 100% Amanda Waller because she's also just completely dickish and only in this for herself.
Yeah.
Because there comes a moment like, we got you the bad guy, we got you this person, we got you everything that you could want, except the plutonium, but we're going to go and get the plutonium now. It's like, yeah, that's nice. I still don't trust any of you, so how about I take all your asses to jail and we can talk about this in Washington, D.C. It's like, God, that's really good.
Yeah, it's like, she does have a point. She's a dick, but she does have a point.
She's doing that. Again, it's kind of like, dude, you're a bunch of fucking kids running around in your Halloween mask. I'm doing the real shit in the CIA. And it's like, yeah, okay, you can understand why she would be that big a dick to the IMF. You understand that. So yeah, there's that big twist in there. Which, again, I didn't see that coming at all. I thought Henry Cavill was going to be like Jeremy Renner's character, which is like, all right, now we're going to hand the franchise off to you. Psych! Tom Cruise is immortal! But the other, like, really big twist at the end of this is that when they go chasing for him, they discover that there is a spot where they were going to set these bombs off, and there is a humanitarian center there, and it's like a Doctors Without Borders kind of thing.
Yeah.
And the Doctors Without Borders place got set up because this terrorist organization set off a smallpox attack, so they came in there to help people with that. And then they realized they set off the smallpox thing to bring them in so that they could set the bombs up there. They get there, and they discover Ethan Hunt's ex-wife is working there.
Yeah.
These guys are genius villains. That is such a big trap that they set for him.
Yeah, it's like, and another reason why they deliberately did the smallpox thing was because, like, the hospital had to, like, come in and they're like, all the radiation and X-rays, it would block out, like,
their ability to find,
the plutonium.
They couldn't use the scanners to find the plutonium because there was all the X-ray equipment, all this other stuff that they were using. Again, this film is really damn smart. Again, this is the stuff in here that I freaking love.
Yeah.
This is the stuff in spy films that I was like, I am loving the hell out of this. It's just a lot of the other stuff in there with IMF. Like, I just don't have I've watched all but one of these movies. At this point, I just don't have an attachment to the characters. I don't have an attachment to this world. I don't have an attachment to this organization. That's literally the only reason why I didn't bump this up above an 8. I just don't have that personal connection to them, even though I've watched all these movies, except for the one that you apparently had to watch. But yeah, I just don't have the connection to all this in here. But man, I freaking loved when this film was working.
Yeah.
Yeah, when this film was doing like the deep spy stuff, this is easily the best of the franchise. So yeah, it was really brilliant how they got all that, and also like even the girl from the fifth film, I'm sorry, the woman from the fifth film, that was bad of me to do that. The woman from the fifth film, she has like her own entire side story going on, and like her own motivations for why she has to do these things.
Yeah, it's like I kind of want to follow her story. It's like,
doesn't it feel like almost everyone in here could get a spinoff?
Yeah.
Like, just have Ethan Hunt, Simon Pegg, and Ving Rhames be the continuous characters from all of these films, which that was something that I was trying hard not to spoil, because in the beginning of this film, it starts off with Ving Rhames. It looks like they've got him at gunpoint, and Ethan Hunt does the thing which is like, I'm sorry, and he pulls the gun on Ving Rhames and shoots him twice in the chest so that he could then like not be used as like a bargaining chip. And I was like, we literally just did the post Geekout reaction for the other films in which we were talking about how, are you gonna kill Ving Rhames? We're just talking about how
seriously thinking that. It's like, oh,
I was like, man, is that how you're gonna start this off? Fuck you, movie. And I kept trying not to mention that Ving Rhames was in the rest of this film. I want people to go into this like thinking that could be a thing. Nah, yeah, it was a bulletproof vest that he was wearing, and Ving Rhames survived for the rest of the film. And Ving Rhames is still really good in the rest of this film. There is one great moment he has in here where he doesn't even say anything, in which Simon Pegg says, "Why do I have to pretend to be the criminal?" And Ving Rhames just goes, because Ving Rhames is a big dude, and it's like, yeah, all right, that was great. That was a great
also,
moment.
isn't it like because he's black and the criminal is white?
No, it could be that, but I would assume if you can make a fake mask, you can make fake gloves for the hands.
I guess so.
Yeah, just give the dude some gloves. Yeah, so again, which that's one of the weird things about this is that we just got done watching those first three movies. Ving Rhames has aged appropriately.
Yeah.
Ving Rhames has aged like a normal man would over the course of 20 some odd years. Tom Cruise has not. And it's so goddamn weird.
Yeah.
It's because there is a moment in here in which the sun hits him just the right way, and you can see wrinkles, you can see cracks in his skin. And I was like, oh, that's okay. But that means it's not plastic surgery. That means you didn't have plastic surgery done. You're just aging like this. Maybe doing all that running that he does is actually keeping him young. Who knows?
He's just gonna keep doing Mission Impossible movies like the 10th.
Fuck, man, he could keep doing Mission Impossible
The 20th movie is just him in like a wheelchair and just like smacking people with his cane.
Comes a moment he has to run and he just hops out of the wheelchair.
Yeah, just like...
He does do the running here again.
No, he does the wheelchair, but then he starts like climbing with his like up a rope and like his just noodle leg just dangling.
Noodle legs? Really? Okay.
I don't know.
Whatever. But yeah, so were there any other really big twists? I thought that all the stuff with the ex-wife was great at the end of this film. I thought that was so good. But yeah, no really other like huge massive twist in here. But that was a bunch of twists we just listed off.
Yes.
But and again, they really made use of Paris. I love that sequence where he runs in and there's some big religious thing happening.
Yeah.
And he's just like, again, great uses of humor during that because it's like, it's not like he cracked a joke. It's just, yeah, how does Ethan Hunt explain running into the middle of a church during some giant ceremony?
Like, it was like a funeral. There was like
it was?
Yeah,
there
there was a coffin there, and that's why everyone was dressed in black.
Oh, I thought that was like just some big thing that like young popes pray to or something like that. I didn't know it was a funeral. I didn't know it was a coffin. My bad. Sorry. But okay, that makes it even more, again, like...
That makes it even more awkward, which is why it was so funny in the first place.
Yeah, and again, it's like, man, yeah, you need some stuff like that in there. But I love that sequence in which he is in the office building.
Yeah.
And he just goes, I need to go left. Yes, go left now. And he looks out and he's like 3 stories up.
Yeah.
And he looks around, and even though none of these people speak English, a lady just gets out of her chair and just walks away from the chair and just goes, thank you. Picks up the chair and throws it out the window. Like they knew what he needed to do. Like they knew this crazy ass dude just came running in there. They're not gonna question it.
Or like maybe she was just trying to get up and walk slowly away.
No,
it's like
he said thank you. So in my mind she was like, you gotta break the window, I guess. Which I'm okay with that. But yeah, so this film, man, it really does just work on so many levels. I don't know if it'll be on my 10 best of the year list, but man, if you do have the connection to these characters and to like this whole film universe, oh man, this is probably the film you were waiting on.
Yeah.
This thing has got like a 97 on Rotten Tomatoes, which is insane that anything would get that high, but yeah, I see it.
Yeah, I can definitely see why.
This film really does kind of have something for everyone in
Yeah.
here. So yeah, that was our post Geekout reaction for Mission Impossible Fallout. Thank you guys for tuning in. I have no idea what's coming up next weekend, but we'll be back to review whatever is in theaters that weekend. Bye everyone.
Bye.